Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Today's going to be a little bit different. I am trying to get bands together, be in a band, and do all the band things. And so I'm going over my tones that I have with my Line 6 Helix LT and my 6505 that you see behind me. One thing that I really want to find out is what is the actual tonal difference, if any, between using the 4-cable method with my Line 6 Helix LT and the other stuff I have on my pedal board versus going straight into my 6505 Plus. Hopefully there's not that much of a tonal difference between the two because I do enjoy using the 4-cable method. So I basically use my Line 6 Helix LT for all effects, whatever I may need, and I use the amps tone for all of my tone stuff. All of this also, just so you're aware, it's sitting on a 212 cabinet with vintage 30s in it. That's what I play live right now. I'm actually going through my two notes Torpedo Captor X, but in that I have programmed a 212 with V30s in there. I believe it's just mic'd up with 157, kind of off axis, just a hair. Nothing crazy, but in the Torpedo, the two notes Torpedo, I did want to have as close of a tone as possible as my live 212 cabinet would be. So that way, whenever I am practicing or doing whatever I'm doing on my monitoring, it'll sound almost the same live. That's kind of my idea behind it. So I've stayed really boring. I haven't tried to experiment with other cabinets or rooms or anything like that. Like I said, I'm trying to keep the two notes Torpedo Captor X as close to my 212 as possible. But basically, I've got my 4-cable method in my 6505 Plus going into my two notes Torpedo Captor X with a mic'd up 212 V30 cabinet and going straight into my Focusrite 6i6 into Logic and into your beautiful ears. That's what's going on. Okay. As far as guitars go, we're going to be doing my Misha Mansour signature HT6 Juggernaut guitar. This is Holly. She's an absolute workhorse. I love her so much. Just restringed her with brand new strings, so that's all good. She's all set up the way I like it. Now, as you know, Line 6 Helix, or maybe you don't know, it's very complicated. It can be very complicated. So the way I have this set up right now is as if I have 8 stomp boxes. I use 7 blocks and just kind of have a boost. And like I said before, I use the actual amps tone. So this is what it all sounds like. My clean channel. And I use the provided foot switch that it comes with. So nothing fancy. All right, so there's clean. Here's crunch. And then here is my red channel, the lead channel, if you will. Now, when I actually do solos and all that kind of stuff, I have a boost in my Line 6 Helix that I put in there. So it just lets it sustain a little bit more. So here it is without it. Here it is with it. Just a little bit more, nothing crazy. But this red channel, I do sometimes use it as a rhythm, so it's just more of a crunchy thickness for a rhythm. So that's what that sounds like. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to record. Let me see if I can actually show you what's going on here. Okay, so I'm going to just record right now. It's a 4-cable method. Okay, well, it'll sound weird whenever I record it, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so all I'm gonna do is just record my 4 cable method right here, and so here is my 4 cable method tone, the way I have it set up. Cool, dude. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna literally just take the cable that's plugged into my guitar, plug it straight into the front of the amp. I'm gonna undo the back of the amp, like obviously I have my send, return, all that kind of stuff. Completely just go straight into the torpedo captor from my guitar to the head of the amp to that. That's all I'm doing. No pedal board involved. All right, so I'm technically plugged straight in. No effects loop, no nothing. On the red channel, nothing's changed. I'm still using the exact same settings on my 6505 Plus. This is still the exact same 2 notes torpedo captor X with the same setup I got going on inside of that and the app and all that kind of stuff. Going straight into my Focusrite 6i6, going into Logic that you can see right there. And yeah, let's see what we got. All right, here we go. Okay, so now let's just kind of review, I guess, right? So let's turn this up a little bit and let's just hear what this sounds like. So this is the 4 cable method that I recorded. And then I mean, as you can kind of hear, there's really no difference between the two, right? Or I mean, I'm listening to my monitors and I don't really see or hear a difference. Okay. Well, there you have it. The 4 cable method with the Line 6 Helix doesn't really have a tonal difference. I mean, and then on top of that, if you're really into recording and mixing and mastering all that kind of stuff, in a mix, it's not gonna sound any different. This is just straight up just naked guitars, you know, nothing. I mean, you see here, I just got 2 tracks. That sounds the same to me. Oh, wait, the 6505 doesn't sound as bright, right? So here it is. Is it just me, or does the 6505 Plus sound a little, like straight into it, sound a little bit darker? Hang on, let me scoot this down just a little bit. Sounds brighter right there. Man, for a second I thought the 6505 sounded darker. like more thick, more punchier, whereas the 4 cable method was almost like a little bit brighter. I mean, if it is darker, it's very, very, very minimal, very minimal. And again, in a mix, I don't think you're hearing that, and especially live, I don't think you're hearing that either. And live, honestly, if it's that big of a deal, you probably just change up the presence knob a little bit, maybe the resonance knob a little bit, and keep all the settings the same. Well, there you go. That is the difference between a 4 cable method and going straight through the amp. Hardly nothing. Now, the reason why I did this was because I was actually very kind of worried that I started coloring my started coloring my amp's tone with all the Line 6 stuff that I got going on in there. I mean, I've got effects loops going for my talk box. I've got 2 different boosts on there, 2 different delays, a flanger. I've got the wah pedal. I've got the whammy pedal. I got all sorts of stuff going on, and my amp's tone and the speaker and all that kind of stuff, the whole setup that I have, was very important for me to have that true amp tone, right? I didn't want it to sound artificial. I don't want it to sound like it's digital or things like that. So it was very important for me to have that tone of a real amp. And I was just really afraid that I started kind of stacking on the effects, even in the 4 cable method, that it was going to start coloring and changing what my amp setup sound is like. So it kind of makes me happy that the way I have things set up right now, there's really no difference in that. Anyways, if you learned something from this, give this video a thumbs up. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, leave them down below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.